I'm Alex Kleanthous, and I'm going to talk to you today about an area we often deal with here at Gannon's, partnership disputes. We're not talking today about limited company disputes. Often people are in a company with somebody and they refer to each other as partners. That's not a partnership. I'm not talking about limited liability partnerships, LLPs. Those are corporate entities which have members but aren't true partnerships. What I'm talking about today are what you might call true or old-fashioned partnerships, sometimes called partnerships under the Partnership Act 1890, where two or more individuals have joined together in a business, but they don't have a limited company and they don't have an LLP. What happens when they have a dispute? The most critical thing about a partnership as a relationship is that it is a trust relationship. Partners always owe to each other a duty of utmost good faith. They are obliged to put the partnership's interests ahead of their own in all circumstances. If that means giving a profit to the partnership instead of them taking it themselves, they must do it. If that means disclosing information to their partners, even about their own wrongdoing, they must do it. The law on partnerships is quite old and well established. Partnerships are governed by the Partnership Act 1890. No, that's not a typo on the slide, it is 1890. And in order to understand the rules governing any particular partnership, the first place to look is the partnership agreement, if there is one. It is open to the partners to enter into a partnership agreement which defines their relationship. Now, that agreement could be in writing, or it could be oral. It may be that the partners have orally agreed various things between them. Insofar as they haven't agreed particular things, the Partnership Act will fill in some gaps. So in order to understand the rules governing the partnership, you have to look at the Partnership Act and you have to look at what agreement the partners might have come to between them. The question that often arises with partnerships is, how are they ended? How are partnerships dissolved? The basic rule is that unless there's an agreement otherwise, a partnership can be dissolved at will. In other words, all it needs is for one partner to say, I am dissolving the partnership, and that's it. It's dissolved. It's not like winding up a company that needs procedures. But, and it's a very big but, that is a basic rule that can be displaced by an agreement otherwise. Now, the obvious place to find that agreement is in a partnership agreement, as I mentioned previously, and almost anything that is inconsistent with a partnership at will be taken to be an agreement that a partnership can't be dissolved at will. So even the most minor, trivial terms that are slightly inconsistent with it are often held by the courts to be inconsistent with dissolution at will, because the courts don't like the very easy way of dissolving partnerships that an at-will partnership gives. But it could indeed be the case. As fallout, the usual remedy is what's called an action for an account. Partners have a duty to give each other an account of profits. And what that means, in effect, is that the court will decide any disputes of fact. For example, did a partner act in conflict of interest? Did they take money they shouldn't have? And then accounts will be drawn up between the partners to show who owes what to whom, what the capital position is, where the profits and losses go, and ultimately, once all the pluses and minuses have been set off against each other, who owes whom money. That's the usual form of a partnership action. One aspect of partnership disputes that often arises is a disagreement between the partners themselves on how the partnership should be managed. Should it be acquiring new businesses? Should it be investing in certain things? What level of remuneration or drawings should partners be taking? The general rule is that a majority rules. The majority of the partners decide, but there are certain areas where unanimity is required, and it's always subject to a partnership agreement. The best way of avoiding a partnership dispute is to have a partnership agreement. I hope those pointers were useful. If you have any more questions or need any more information, please do get in touch with us using the details below.